Hi, you guys. Hopefully you can hear me. So yeah, I had to come back to back. So yeah, I said I was going to start putting some videos over here since right now I can't upload the other videos I put together. And this is one of the videos that I was trying to put together and I wanted to touch on. And I was really happy to see Cynthia G on the panel there on Fox. So she was really good. And I appreciated that she just kind of stayed cool, calm, and just, spoke from a place of truth. And I think the other young lady as well. Um, now, there's another YouTuber who's also, I was tickled yesterday. I was listening. This interview happened like a week ago. And so, and like I said, I haven't been able to upload my videos. And so I just said, I'm going to come over here and go live on this channel since I haven't been using this channel as of late. But he kind of went in, he had held his own panel having a discussion on the same topic. And the topic that was on the Tammy Mack show was, should biracials identify as Black, right? This was on Tammy Mack's show on Fox Soul. And Cynthia G was one on the panel, and there was another young lady on the panel, and I'm trying to remember her name now. And I think she said she's a YouTuber as well. I'm just not familiar with her. Um, but they were both kind of speaking from their perspective. And then Tammy had two young ladies who were saying that they were biracial on there as well. Yeah, this was 9 days ago. And I guess she titled her video, Should Biracial People Be Considered Black? So that's the name of the video if you guys want to watch it. But I was trying to see, I'm trying to see the names of the young ladies that are on here. Tony, that's her name. So Tony, and then the two biracial girls is Crystal and Mona Lisa Johnson. Now, Mona Lisa Johnson was really interesting because even from the very beginning, maybe the conversation just wasn't, important enough for her or deep enough for her, I guess. But she contradicted herself quite a bit. And I picked up on it really early on, just from the very beginning, when she said, well, why does it matter what we call ourselves? Um, I think that everyone knows that it matters to an extent in a lot of ways. And so for somebody to even say that is to say that you just refuse to acknowledge certain things. And I've said this several times. People, like a lot of people, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of these people, they understand that they benefit from systemic racism. It's kind of like other communities. They understand that there is a benefit from keeping certain things in place. And so you pretend like it's not an issue. You pretend like they don't exist. Even when the video is there or it's in black and white, the evidence is there, people will still find a way to go around the truth, right? And I know my grandmother used to say, don't argue with folk because, they're just going to continue to lie about certain things. And as I got older, I definitely was able to see that. Like, people are not going to come out and just deal with things from an honest place when they benefit from that. And so she benefits from doing things the way that they are done. And so that's why she has that attitude. And then she tried to blame Cynthia and say, oh, well, Cynthia, you don't even know me. You don't, something to that effect, or you're not hearing my whole story, or you're not hearing everything that I would say to that. But no, you made a point, and this is what you said. You said, why should it matter anyway? And then you contradicted yourself, and she contradicted herself a few times. She said, first of all, you want to identify as Black. However, you have the most issue. You clearly understand that you don't look black, but you have the most issues with black people. That's what she said. Nobody picks on her more than black people or bother her or whatever the word was that she kind of said, more than black people. Um, and so when Cynthia kind of answered her, then it was she tried to flip it into something else again. And it was just like, yeah, this is not a real honest conversation. I kind of feel like there are some biracial people that you probably can have an honest conversation with, in this way. I just felt like whatever anyone would have said, she was going to deny it or use find some way to say, oh, well, you're not being fair to me. You're not, you're not hearing everything I'm saying. And like, that you're on a TV show that's 30 minutes long or however long it was. Oh, I guess it was close to an hour. You know there's several other people on the panel and plus the host. You're not going to have all the speaking time to tell all these stories and all. So you go in prepared to make your points, right? I think that's how most people would think they would handle something like that. But like I said, maybe it wasn't just that serious to her because she's going to do just what she was doing, and that was denying everything. And then when somebody call her out on something that she says, then she'll deny it, right? And that's kind of what she kind of was doing the entire time. And this is the Mona Lisa lady, and she says that she's a public. Is she a public defender? I was just like, I was shocked. But and then the girl Crystal, the younger one, she's said she was, you know, I just didn't. She didn't say a lot. I think that she had, she understood not to, silence is golden. I'll just use that saying. And she didn't really say that much, but she kept trying to deny that her mother was white. She kept saying her mother was biracial herself, and then her mother was raised by the Black Panthers. Now, if people are old enough, even if you're not old enough, if well, this is why it's important for us to know our history. It's important for us to understand the people who made strides for us, and they were not all Black. And when I say made strides for us, I mean for all people in this country, right? Because all of the things that Black people benefit from, all minorities are benefiting from those things. Let's go there. Okay, number one. And so her saying but many people in the Black Panthers were biracial, right? I think that most people know that. And if you don't, you should know that. You should read. You should pick up some books and get an understanding of things and not just take everybody's word for everything. And that's kind of what that comes down to me, her doing the whole thing about the Black Panthers. And there were issues as well within the Panthers. So we're not, I still didn't get what her point was. We understand that there were people that were NAACP was started by non-Black people as well. We understand and no one's saying, and that's always the thing. They go on this defensive as if somebody is saying they don't have a right to, I don't know, I don't get it. I really don't. And I guess because I'm not them, I can't really speak to it, and I probably should not. And vice versa. People should stop trying to speak for Black people when they know that they don't really understand our story. And this was kind of one of those prime examples of that as well. And even Tammy Mack kind of came for Cynthia G about being light skinned. It's like, it's still, we're Black. We understand it. It's a difference. Everybody and most Black people's family are not the same shade. Okay, that's very rare that you're going to see that where everyone is the exact same shade. Your mother and father must be the exact same shade too, if that's the case. Um, it's very rare that you're going to see that. We're going to have different skin tones, and like she said, she still has two Black parents, and she is Black. You can identify her as a Black person. So I guess Tammy was just putting it out there because people do say sarcastic stuff like that. Like, you're a little too light skinned to have all this conversation. Right. And it's like, just because somebody's light skinned, you know your history, and then you know that just because people are light skinned or have certain things in their bloodline do not mean that they are culturally connected to those things. And this is why we're having this conversation in the first place, is because, like Cynthia said, these people did not take responsibility for their children. Okay, they did not take responsibility for their children, and people are trying to continue that legacy on to where they're not going to take responsibility for their children, and black and everything is supposed to fall on the backs of black folk, and that's not just. It's just it really needs to stop. It needs to stop. And it's not about disliking anyone or somebody who was truly raised a certain way, not being able to identify as black. Um, that is not what people are. That's not what Cynthia's point is. It's like who is benefiting from all of this stuff? Like we're black people are not benefiting from all of this. Okay, and that's the point. In this day and age, we understand our history. We understand that there was a clear, defined line, a separation between black and white in this country, literally. Like you could not go in certain restaurants, you could not go in certain stores, you couldn't go to certain gas stations. You had to go where colored people were, as they called them, allowed. You had to go, through back doors to go to work and all this stuff that was going on, right? You couldn't sit next to certain people, or and so for people to be disingenuous and just say all this stuff like they don't know where they are and the history of why certain things was, especially the Mona Lisa lady, because she looks old enough to know better. Like I said, she just came off like she was everything that was said. She was just going to deny it, and that was her answer for everything. It was. I just didn't like the conversation overall. Personally, it wasn't. I think it made Cynthia's point. If nothing else, it made the point that she was trying to make. She and Tony, right? The point that they were making, these ladies definitely helped them make that point. To me, at the end of the day, because one of the other YouTubers who was also speaking on this interview, this interview, I guess you want to call it that, this panel discussion, he had someone call into his show yesterday, and they're saying that Crystal, the younger biracial lady, her mother is not biracial the way she's saying it. But like I said, regardless of whether it was biracial or not, there were people that were part of the Black Panther Party that were biracial or that had white wives and white girlfriends and white people that they worked with. A lot of them were college students. And these were very bright, intelligent people. We all understand that, right? Like this, we need to know our stories. I'm sorry. We need to have a clear understanding of our stories. And I'm not saying just because somebody is not going to college and they're not bright and smart. I'm just saying um, most of the people that were part of the Panther Party were well-educated people. They were in certain places anyway. Okay, and so they were in schools like Yale, Stanford, and wherever, and so they were going to be around white people. Okay, that is my point in what I'm trying to say. And so um, no one should be surprised that her mother was around the Black Panthers. That still doesn't make her culturally Black. Just because you had a friendship with your family was friends with whomever, Stokely Carmichael, whoever, Angela Davis, whoever, just because your family was friends with these people or they were in a circle with these people trying to make things happen or discussing certain issues or what have you, do not mean that now you're culturally Black. And I think that was the point. Um, just because that doesn't give you all of our culture because you're hanging out with the Black Panthers, right? And people continue to pretend like they don't get what we're saying, but then when we're talking about certain things, people don't know what we're talking about. So that's how you know. And as far as this diaspora, most of the people that I know that are Jamaican, they're going to say that they're Jamaican. Most people that I know from Belize, they say that they're from Belize. Most of the people that I know from Puerto Rico, they're going to tell you that they're Puerto Rican. Most people that are from different places who may be semi of African descent or of African descent, they are going to tell you where they're from and their heritage and their culture. So these things are not something that we understand. It's different. These cultures are different. And so it just didn't make sense what she was saying to me about the mother growing up with the Panthers. And he pulled the lady that called her, this guy's panel, pulled a picture and he put the picture up on his page. And the mother, she did not look anything like what the the daughter was trying to explain. And to be honest, looking at her, both of these ladies could easily, um, you know, not even walk through wherever and not even say that they had any African descent of any African descent at all. And so, because she kept trying to say, well, my mother is mixed as well. I just look a certain way. And it's like, okay. But when the picture went up of the mother, yeah, no. No, and I mean, I'm not going to go in like he was going in. It's neither here nor there. Um, but growing up around the Panthers, like I said, that still has nothing to do with the culture. We have a culture, and what people want to do now is have us African American people rid ourselves of the things, the rich culture that our ancestors built for us in this country. Okay, I don't want to get rid of that. I don't want to walk away from that to make nobody else comfortable. Why can't everybody be who they are? And wherever you're happy at, get there and be there. No one is concerned about all of that. When people are ready to go, they're ready to go, and that's it in us all. When no one cares like that. I think that the real conversation, which I don't really think they ever got to, I think Tony tried to, Tony, and I guess because she is the more racially identified Black girl, because even Tammy Mack is light skinned herself, and so for her to even address Cynthia G about being light skinned was kind of funny to me when they kind of look related. But I digress. And then when Tony spoke up and tried to really address the real issue of that, of even now how we have this NFL coach, excuse me, the coach, I think his last name is Felix. I think he's a Afro Latino, but he's still a dark skinned Black man, was suing the NFL for not hiring minority coaches and Black coaches, right? And so they put this guy out there, and I forget his name now, Michael something, and they're trying to pass him off as if they hired a Black coach. And even some of the media, and I said this in a different video, that kind of spoke up and said, we've been calling you white all this time and you never corrected us. And so he went into this whole big, well, once again, just like she said, what difference do it make? And see, that's the pushback. What difference does it make? It makes a difference because the man is raising the fact that they're not hiring Black coaches. They're not hiring Black folk. Like, and all these Black players, some of them should be qualified to say they can become a coach. Okay, like, let's cut it out. And so it's that part. It's the taking advantage of the systemic racism. And the minute Tony tried to point that out, then they want to go into this whole thing about Black people being jealous of people. It's not about being jealous. It's about right and wrong. It's about systemic racism. It's about you benefiting from racism and not wanting to acknowledge that. Okay. That has nothing to do with jealousy. You're trying to say that we don't have a right to be treated like everyone else because you're getting treated the way they want to treat you because you have a white mother, because you have a white father, because you have one Black grandparent, and you're trying to take advantage of things that you really culturally you're not even connected to, and that we have a right to exist as a group of people. Okay. And I feel like they have a right to exist as a group of people and they should identify themselves as that. I agree with Tony and with Cynthia in that respect. And for people to, like I said, that are trying to deny that, they're only basically denying that because they like taking advantage of the mistreatment. And that's all it is at the end of the day. And I said what I said on that. I think Cynthia handled the conversation really well when she said the things that she said, because she definitely called was her Mona Lisa out, and yeah, then like I said, this other YouTuber came with the picture of Crystal's mother, I guess from Crystal's Instagram page. She had some pictures posted of her and her mother, and the mother looks identifiably like a white woman. Even Mona Lisa looks identifiably like a white woman. But I can believe her a little more than I'm gonna believe that mother. Okay, like let's cut it out. Let's cut it out. We have a right to exist as a group of people, and I think that's when it starts getting creepy and weird when people are trying to genocide the legacy and the history and the heritage and the traditions that my ancestors brought to and built in this country. And that's what we're talking about. You know, I understand there are Black people, like I said, from other places, and most of the time, those people will identify themselves as such. I have a right to identify myself as a person of this land. Okay, and that's the point. That's the conversation, Mona Lisa. Um, anyway, you know, and yeah, you cannot identify with that because you were not raised in that, and that's what we're saying. Obviously, if your father is off doing something else, that's what he wants to do, right? And I'm not saying that some biracial people don't spend time with their Black family and so on. If they're, you know, I think one of them, I think it was Mona Lisa said, or maybe it was Crystal. One of them said that their white family disowned their parent. So we know for sure that you were not getting any of the things that you would need to get to really understand who we are. We understand because you would have to get that from your family, period. And I don't care who don't like what I'm saying. It's just the truth, and it does matter. If everybody else have the right to identify themselves, we should have a right to identify ourselves as well. And we're not white. We have kinky hair. We have white noses. We have melanin in our skin. We have full lifts. Okay, we have certain body builds. We have certain tones to our voices. We have certain accents, and we have certain traditions that we follow and we want to continue to follow, that we respect. We have things that we respect and we love, and we want to continue those things. We should not have to deny those things, and have other people come in and try to make it sound as if that's not like there's something higher than being Black. It's not. And if it is to you, then that's your story. And there's a reason that that story is that way for you. People need to be honest about that. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think, like I said, the only thing I can come to is that people like taking advantage of systemic racism. And I think that little spill that Thandie Newton gave in that video kind of says that. Okay. That's it, and that's all. But let me know if you guys saw the segment. What did you think of it? Um, yeah, I think the guy's name is Themis and Thought. That's the name of his channel. THMIS and Thought. That's the name of his YouTube channel. He has the picture of Crystal's mother. If you guys saw that interview, I kind of knew she wasn't. You can look at people sometimes and listen to me. You can feel that they're not being forthright. Um, yeah, saying that your mother was raised around Black Panthers does not give you the Black experience. Okay, it gives you an experience of being raised around the Black Panthers. Okay. And like I said, everybody knows that there were white people who were involved with working with the Panthers, and they were white, obviously. Some of them are biracial. You can look at them and tell that they are multiracial or biracial. They just grew up at a time in this country when this country was divided, and they had to stand on the side of Black because of the rules that these people put in place. So that's why they feel so strongly about the issues that they are addressing, because they were put on that end. These people, that anybody born in the 80s, anybody born in the 90s, anybody born in 2000, y'all ain't going through nothing. And y'all out here saying stuff because you just want to say it. And for the most part, biracial people honestly identify themselves as biracial. You have these few that push back. And like I said, they understand how they could take advantage of the system. And that's the only reason why they have this whole pushback. It's just like Thandie Newton told you guys in the video, right? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video.